What up? It's your boy Bazz. Y'all tuned in to another episode of ENDS Podcast. In this episode in particular, man, we gonna be keeping it real, but we gonna be talking about that money, man, like for real. And the last, we always talk about finances and stuff like that. We started ENDS Investment Group, which I started also a Facebook group, but as I've been on this entrepreneur grind, man, we've been talking about real estate, we've been talking about stock. Now I want to talk about credit, man. Credit is real, especially growing up in a black community. And man, if you come from the hood, dog, like, let's be real, a lot of times, just due to just lack of just understanding the credit and just financial awareness, a lot of times it's like, shoot, your credit take a hit, you feel me? Being late on bills, you feel me, repossessions, all type of stuff. You went to school loans on all type of stuff. So about time, you feel me, you start tapping into like really buying cars and houses and stuff like that, your credit start to really take a hit. Like it really start to really show when you really start to want to open up a house. I said open up a house, buy a house, and you got to go open up like a loan or something like that. Lately, it's been harder for a lot of individuals to acquire those type of loans to really that's junk started, and it really just been due to credit score. You feel me? So I've been making it just really my main goal and objective to really improve my own credit, because let's be real, we call it ends eating the streets, which means making the most out of your current circumstance. And man, we starting from the ground up, building from the ground up. My credit isn't perfect. You feel me? That's why I be using my own testimony. Shoot, my credit isn't perfect. You feel me? I made a lot of bad decisions in the past. Shoot, I even tried a credit builder loan. And then I just ain't followed through with it. You feel me? It was a different process. They ended up giving me some money. And I just failed on making the payments, man, and that ended up on my credit. But luckily it wasn't for that, for that much, but it ended up on my credit. You feel me? And it had an effect, ended up dropping my credit. So now, I got to double back and try to work to improve that, which means I got to have good credit history showing, on time payments. But then when you start figuring out, I told you about the whole house, buying a house and stuff like that. You start figuring out that there's not just one credit bureau that they report to, like credit card companies, stuff like that report to. It's three of them. You feel me? And a lot of times when these lenders and stuff like that, they pulling these credit reports, they not just looking at one, they looking at like two. And you don't know which ones it is. I think it's like your FICO score or something like that, and it's a few scores and a few companies that do it, and they got their own measurements, you feel me, on it at the same time, like measurements of how they calculate your credit score. So long story short, one thing that always affects your credit score is on-time payments, and you feel me, and open accounts. You feel me? So if you don't really got no credit history, it's because due to lack of open accounts and due to it's just proof of just on-time payments. And just from the individuals that's around me, my elders, you feel me? Like I got individuals around me, man, that's older than me, man, that's willing to share their own experiences, what they've been through. You're just dealing with credit cards and just paying off loans and just dealing with credit. But also from the knowledge I've been seeking, you feel me? YouTube, all type of stuff, you feel me? Where it was basically saying that don't always do the minimum. A lot of times, man, we do like the minimum requirement. If they say like, shoot, you could just pay $20 today or something like that, then you just keep paying the minimum and also paying ahead of time. So long story short, you feel me? Somebody was saying that, like, you feel me? If you really want to try to boost your credit score, you really want to try to make, big improvements, pay a little bit early and pay a little bit more. Don't never pay like the minimum. Pay more than the minimum. Once you pay that out, once you show that you can pay more than the actual payment and you can make it ahead of time and you're making it on time, that's what they really want to see. And just in that short amount of time of me doing it, it was crazy. Like, I ended up getting an email like, dang, like, we seen improvements in your credit score. We're like, well, it basically said like we seen a change in your credit score. I get alerts whenever my credit changed. So it was like, we seen, like a change in your credit score. I went on there and it was saying that, like, dang, your credit score improved, I think it was it 39 or 49? I think it was like 39 or 49 points, basically, long story short. And, and that's big, like, especially when you start talking about credit, that's big. And I ain't even been using it that long. I just recently just started using this whole platform. The platform I'm talking about is Self.inc. And I'm going to have it's a link in the description below. It's basically, it's They got two products, but the one I'm using right now is the credit building loan. Which, long story short, you agree to the term. Like, so say they got a couple of them. It's like one that's 1,000, one that's 500, like around 600. It's one that's a little over 1,000, and up. Where you basically pay a certain amount per month, and they put like y'all agree to a certain amount, like 1,000 or 500. They put into a savings account. Basically, they gonna put $500 into a savings account, and you gonna pay off that money, whatever money that y'all agreed upon minus, you feel me, the fees and interest. You feel me? You gonna pay that off, and then afterwards you receive that money back. So while you paying that off, you're making those on-time payments. However much you making those payments, they're reporting that to all three credit bureaus. And as we were saying earlier, how important it is that they report to all three credit bureaus, because when it comes down to taking out like loans for homes or just lenders and stuff like that, you feel me, you don't know which one that they pulling from, and so you want to be in good standing with all three. And you want to make sure that, this is being sent out and you being represented the best way by all three credit bureaus. So, tapping back in. Let's go diving back into Self.inc. Now, Self.inc ain't the only one out there that's like it. That's the one I just came across, you feel me, that I went through. It's more out there, but I'm going to just let you know, this is just one in particular. But just, open up, you just being open that this is a possibility, a way to rebuilding your credit. But the one thing I seen, though, and the one thing that's two things for certain, I know for sure is you got to be on top of, basically, you just got to be on top of them payments, man. Like, for real. Because these payments are reflected. Like, so say like a Metro PCS payment. A Metro PCS, that ain't showing up on your credit score. Now, if you use a credit card to pay for that Metro PCS bill, now that's showing up on your credit score. Or if they send your account once you stop paying them to, you feel me, to, like basically if they send it to a creditor, then that's going to start to reflect your credit score. But other than that, that's not going to show up your credit score. So if it comes down to it, you got to be 2 to 3 days without that internet, that data plan, but you can still have that text and then that text and that phone call, man, for real, take that L, pay off that Self.inc account first, because that's going to help you get that credit card, what we was talking about. Then that next month, you feel me, you'll be in a better position. And then we're going to talk about that in the next episode, too, how you get one of them credit builder credit cards, because I also came up on one of those, too. But for this episode, we're going to go back into the credit builder loan. Long story short is, because you don't want to show that you late or missed a payment or behind on payments, because they, like I said, they're reporting this every month to the credit bureau. You feel me? So the whole goal is to improve your credit, so it means making the necessary sacrifices to pay them first, even if you got to pay in advance. Like, that's basically what I end up doing. I end up paying in advance. And I paid a little bit over the minimum. And by doing that, I was able to, increase my credit score. You feel me? And I ain't gonna lie to you. I wasn't really too sure on how the process worked, how I was gonna find out. But good thing I got basically I get like credit alerts, like I was saying, when any changes come on my credit. I was able to see that this is really legit, and then it's all in a feasible amount too. So my minimum payment is $48. That's the minimum. So you don't have to always pay the minimum, but you do agree to a payment term. So that's why they do it at like a certain rate, because they want you to pay it off at a certain time. Now, some of these you do got to be aware of, because you can pay them off, you feel me, early. Like, some people be like, man, I don't want to wait a whole year having this over my head, or I don't want to go too long having something like this over my head. You can pay them off early. Some of them do have basically like a penalty or like a fee if you pay it off early. Some of them don't. Like I said, there's more than one. I'm just talking about Self.inc. This is the one I use, because this one also it also integrates and it like syncs with Mint, and then that's what I use for like budgeting and like basically staying up to date with all my accounts and stuff like that. You feel me? So, man, like just being on this whole grind, this whole entrepreneur grind, and really being on this whole, man, just trying to build like what we talked about in them old podcasts. Shout out to Will Capo. We was talking about generational wealth. Was really paying close attention to like the little things. So boom, I already started the LLC. You feel me? Good or bad, I started a business. You feel me? That's one investment. That's on one side. boom, already invested to the stock market. You feel me? That's like securities and stuff like that. I'm investing into, the stock market. Then on another side, you feel me, we went the real estate route. And then it's like, you feel me, just building that good credit. So while I'm building my credit, you feel me, if I want to attach, you feel me, if I end up having kids or something like that, I got to attach their name to my credit and start building up their shit. You feel me? That is how they start. And now we're talking about really building wealth, because that's how some people, wealthy individuals be doing it. You feel me? They start building up credit early for their kids, so about the time they become, you feel me, young adults and things like that, be able to make independent decisions and handle their own money, they got some leverage instead of, starting short-handed. But as we all know, due to, history and stuff like that, African Americans, blacks in America, we started short-handed, so we got to get the ball rolling a little bit, a little bit harder and sooner, just due to some of those disadvantages. So, I'm committed to it. And like I said, it's ends with the family, everybody that be tapping in. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, these numbers been going crazy lately. We've been improving, and when I say improving, I'm saying I'm seeing consistent numbers that man, y'all been tapping in, and I really do appreciate that, man. Cause right now we really trying to save, stack up. Like I said, we were just talking about, all these different pillars, you feel me? Try to build the good credit. But another thing that we also trying to do is trying to get this store going, man. Really trying to get a store, just opening my eyes to the whole real estate game, just going the residential route, because, shoot, man, we always going to need a house. Everybody need a house. I'm going to need a house. I need a house, too. Like I said, when I have family one day, shoot, we going to need a house. But then it's also talking about, that having a business. But as y'all know, we got ENDS merchandise, the podcast, stuff like that. We always doing work in the community, having that solid foundation, not just like an office space, because that's more business, but having a actual store, a trade where it's a community space. You feel me? But it's also commerce. You feel me? A store. Long story short, it's going to be a store, but we're going to have a whole bunch of other features to it. We want to be a pillar in the community, man, and it's going to take a collective effort, man. So we about to really be going hard at this podcasting, man. We about to really be going hard with the merchandise, man, the marketing, the media, just how we just trying to, just reach everybody and just relay these messages, man. So I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. I appreciate all those that be sharing and liking the podcast, all those that be copping the merch. If you haven't copped no merch and you interested, man, visit www.eatingdastreets.com, eatinginthestreets.com. And that's if you want to cop the merchandise. And if you want to see about our media marketing company, man, come tap in with us, www.endsmedia.com. And if you're a music artist, we need y'all, man. Y'all also help power this culture, man, the voice of the culture, man. Come tap in with us. We got a platform for y'all, www.endsstream.com, endsstream.com. Last but not least, to the entrepreneurs and just the everyday individuals that want media coming straight from their own culture. You feel me? Like I said, we are the voice of the culture. I'm talking about the entrepreneurs. You feel me? Just the ones sharing just their testimonies, interviews, music, everything. You can go to endsmedia.stream. Same thing as .com, but it's just .stream at the end, because that's the streaming platform for ENDS Media, where you can catch all our media that we've been, just creating just over time, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for supporting. Thank y'all for listening to your boy, man. Hopefully, I'm about to say, I got started stuttering over my words, man. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day, man. It's ENDS. It's your boy Bazz. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'm out, baby.